are played live, because that's when they kind of take on a new life, because then you realize, oh, like people sing this part or they clap here, or like, oh, they didn't like this part, whatever it is, it becomes the song at that point. So I guess playing them live for me.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more of Fall Out Boy and all your favorite artists.
This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
Yeah, baby.
I've been saying this every time we bring up the Steelers conversation.
If you're the head coach of that team and you're second guessing your ability to pick a quarterback now,
well, who's to say that they wouldn't have been better with Russell Wilson going into his second season?
Two Pros, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe. Jonas Knox, 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific. Fox Sports 940. Baseball lives here.
Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again.
Listen live to every Miami Marlins game on Fox Sports 940 and the iHeartRadio app.
1-0 pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up, and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins, and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Well, top of the morning to you. Nice job, Carlos. Welcome. Live from Lone Depot Park in Miami. The roof and the walls are slammed and shut once again. We'll play indoors on this Wednesday, but how about it? Some breakfast and baseball. Fox Sports 940. Miami, you're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. It's game 60 of 162. Well, last night you went home with a double-edged sword. Sandy Alcantara finally put together a quality start, but it was in a losing effort. And now the Marlins have their backs against the wall as Miami will look to fend off the 11-win Rockies from their first sweep of the season. Well, we'll bring you game 3 of this 3-game set, the final game of this homestand for the Marlins between the 11-50 Colorado Rockies and your 23-36 Miami Marlins. Cal Quantrill faces off against his former team in the Rockies, or at least one of them. He pitched for the Rocks last year, and he finished up the month of May with the Marlins with a 3 ERA. He'll make his 12th start of the season. Kyle Freeland, the 32-year-old southpaw, takes the ball for the 13th time this season for the Rockies. First pitch slated for 12:10 right here on the Marlins radio network. Well, we'll see here if we can steer this ship in the right direction. Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your Wednesday morning here in beautiful Miami, Florida. Jack McMullen, Jeff Nelson. Those two have your call. I'm Steven Strom, host of the program. We thank you for your participation. We have an all-star themed show because in about 28 minutes, you'll be able to vote for your Marlin All-Stars. And we will hear from some of the Marlins who believe should be in Atlanta. Kyle Stowers will also join the program. Jack and I sat down with him on Monday. We did live stream our side session with Kyle Stowers, which side session is just our title name for the podcast. We sat down with him on Monday, live streamed it on X and YouTube at 11:30. That will be out on the Marlins YouTube page and also on our podcast page. I highly advise you guys to check that out. Just an awesome, vulnerable, authentic conversation with Stowers. So I also want to share a little bit of a snippet of that conversation. We'll get you out of the count with Cal and Freeland. Jack will jump in for some back and forth, plus our X poll question of today at Marlins Radio, and of course, Steve's guarantee to victory. So we begin with the All-Star theme. I got a chance to get down to the clubhouse yesterday, and it was cool to see some of these guys who are maybe curious about how the voting works, who gets the votes, how many votes you get. So I posed the question to, okay, you guys are now the journalists. You guys have the vote. Who would you vote to go to Atlanta on July 15th for the All-Star game? We heard from Ryan Weathers, Dane Myers, Augustine Ramirez, and Eric Wagaman.
I think the going obviously is Stowers. He's had a great year. Obviously, he's had a tough stretch lately, but what great hitters don't have tough stretches. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where he keeps going. It'd be hard to not argue that Ronnie wouldn't be in the consideration. He has been really good out of the pen this year. High punch-out numbers, low walk numbers, low ERA, probably a low FIP. I don't know all the numbers, but he's had a really good year, and it'd be cool to see a couple dudes from the Marlins in the All-Star game.
Stowers, from the position player side, I think it's he's just been having a great season up until now. I think he's well deserving of it. And then for a pitcher, I'm going to take I'll take Bender. I feel like every time he comes in out of the bullpen, we're going to get out of the jam. We're going to get 3 quick outs. I think he's well deserving.
Stowers and Cabrera. I think it's both good player and good start the season and a lot of good numbers.
I'll start with Ronnie Enriquez. Just the way he's gone about his business. Kind of been in different roles, different situations, coming in different innings, but just dominant all around. I think I'm going to have to go with Stowers for the second. Playing almost every day. Never really giving him a bat away. And then you see his numbers are underlying as well. So playing good defense, running the base as well, and swinging it how he is, I think that's my other pick.
Yeah, I would agree too. And I think there's a couple. So thank you again to Ryan Weathers, Dane Myers, Augustine Ramirez, and Eric Wagman. Let's explore some of these. I want to start with the obvious, right? Like let's call it spade a spade. Kyle Stowers is probably the number one guy that we feel deserves to go to Atlanta. 283 batting average, 10 home runs, 33 RBIs, and 840 OPS. But it's been the impact in wins, right? Like you think about the big moments, the Mason Miller grand slam that won the game, the walk-off to start the season against Bednar. These hits that Kyle Stowers have come up with have been big, big hits. And that's not always the case with baseball, right? Like you can see guys that hit 25, 30 home runs and they've won, 60 games, whatever it may be, or they hit them when it's 10-1. Kyle Stowers have had impactful moments this year for the Marlins. The number 2 one, Ronnie Enriquez, a Peter Bendix find that has just turned out to be a diamond in the rough for this team. Ronnie Enriquez is 3-1 with a 2.20 ERA, 25 games, 28 2/3. He's been the fireman. That's what Jack McMullen called him. I'm going to continue to call him that. And then Anthony Bender, who I know gave up the big home run yesterday that ended up losing the game for the Marlins, but this has been about the offense over the weekend. Let's call it, let's be honest. Anthony Bender is in there as well. And I do want to explore this because I hope no one chuckled when Augustine Ramirez said Edward Cabrera. Edward Cabrera, he's not going to the All-Star game. But what I will tell you is his month of May was fantastic. 2-0, a 2 ERA on the dot, 5 starts, 27 innings pitched, 28 strikeouts, to my favorite here, 8 walks. Edward Cabrera has had a fabulous month of May. He's not going to the All-Star game because of what happened in April and March, but I thought it was an interesting take because we heard the same ones. We heard Kyle Stowers, Ronnie Enriquez, Anthony Bender. But Augustine Ramirez has caught Cabrera, and Augustine Ramirez has seen this evolution of Cabrera come to a guy that, man, like every 5th day, you feel like he's going to go out there and give you 5-6 innings of a quality start. So thank you again to Ryan Weathers, Dane Myers, Augustine Ramirez, Eric Wagaman. The next thing I want to tell you guys is at 12 o'clock, there are 2 phases to these voting. From June 4th to the 26th, you vote players to advance. And then from June 13th to July 2nd, you're going to vote for starters. MLB.com/all-star/ballot. Make sure to vote your Marlins, Kyle Stowers, Ronnie Enriquez, whoever you want to vote. You can make up to, I think it's up to 5 votes per person. So make sure, again, MLB.com/all-star/ballot. The last position player for the Marlins to make it to the All-Star game was 2023 Luis Arraez. Last outfielder for the Miami Marlins, you got to go back to 2017, Marcell Ozuna and Giancarlo Stanton. Those are the last 2 Marlins to get to the All-Star game from an outfield perspective. We'll break here. We will hear from Kyle Stowers, who we sat down with on Monday. We talked about just the mental side of the game, some of his best moments, and what it would mean to be an all-star to represent the Marlins in the organization. That is coming up next. It's a 12:10 first pitch. Marlins, Rockies. Kyle Freeland and Cal Quantrill will toe the rubber. Marlins on Deck continues on the Marlins Radio Network.
The pitch at the same grip. Sometimes
1-1. Lee pumps into right center field. Myers on the move. Dane Myers back to the track. Myers jumps up, and he made an insane play. Dane Myers in right center field went leaping at the wall, full speed into the padded wall, grimacing as he lays on the warning track. But Dane Myers just took an RBI double away from Jung-Hoo Lee.
That's incredible again.
13 in the game with runners in scoring position yesterday. 1-2 pitch is a roller over to third base. Arcia's got it. He's coming home, and Goodman just didn't catch the throw. Everybody up an additional 90 feet. So Sanchez to third, Augustine to second. That'll be an RBI fielder's choice, but a missed catch error on Goodman to play X from third base. We're tied at 1 in the bottom of the first.
The outside pitch, especially when you have a moving fastball.
First pitch to Otto Lopez is cranked through the left side of the infield. That is a base hit. They're going to hold Augustine at third, but Sanchez scores from third. And Otto Lopez, the shortstop for the Fish, plates another an RBI single. 2-1 Marlins in the bottom of the first. Right. 1-0 pitch to Wagaman. Lopez on the go. Wagaman hits one out to right field pretty deep. Freeman is setting up camp. He makes the catch. Otto retreats to first, but that is deep enough to plate Augustine from third base. A sacrifice fly for Eric Wagaman, a productive out number 2. Brings in another run. It's 3-1 Marlins in the bottom of the first.
Throw in order to get the guy at home with one out.
2-1. That one lined into left center field. Doyle on his horse. Doyle looking up, and that thing slams off the wall in left center field. Sanchez pulling into second base. No problem for Liam Hicks.
Schedule your free inspection today. Terminix, where trust and protection hit a home run.
Is there anything better than breakfast in baseball? Or maybe breakfast in Marlins on Deck, because we're technically going to play at 12:10 early afternoon. Series finale, last game of this homestand. For the Marlins, they're looking to fend off the Colorado Rockies, who are looking to capture their first sweep of 2025. Marlins will enjoy an off day tomorrow. Will travel to Tampa and get ready for their first 3-city road trip. But I just love the idea of an early afternoon game because you get home from work at 6 o'clock. You want to listen to the game. You want to watch the game. And, maybe it interferes with some family time. Now you get to do it at work. You get to listen wherever you are, in your office, at home, working remote. So I've always loved the idea of playing some baseball at 12:10. Cal Quantrill will go opposite Kyle Freeland here this afternoon. Take the Marlins wherever you go. Download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 the top preset to listen to every Marlins game. All-Star voting starts in about 19 minutes. MLB.com/all-star/ballot. Kyle Stowers, Anthony Bender, Ronnie Enriquez, just some of the names that you could send to Atlanta on July 15th. There are 2 phases here. The players that advance, and then you vote for the starters. Again, 12 o'clock is the time to start voting for your Marlins. Kyle Stowers joined Jack and I on Side Sessions on Monday. We talked about a myriad of things. We talked about just the mental side of baseball, some of his favorite moments, plus what it would mean to him to represent the Marlins organization in Atlanta for the All-Star game. Let's hear what Kyle had to say when we asked him that question.
Wednesday, the voting starts. You lead this team in home runs, RBIs, walks, OPS. I know you don't think about this. I know you care about it maybe. But what would it mean to you to represent this organization that you've talked so highly about, that have believed in you when you struck out and all this stuff during spring training, to go to Atlanta and represent the organization? What would that mean?
Yeah, it's honestly, it's one of my bucket list things of career that I'd like to check off for sure. So I'd be lying to you if I said it was something I didn't care about.
Yeah.
The trap that I fall into is it still feels like it's far away. You know what I mean? It's still, we got over a month, and
right.
A lot can happen in a month, and so for me, I don't know if it's you're scared to jinx how you're playing or whatever it is.
I get it.
But yeah, it'd be special. It'd be obviously something that is validating to the work you put in. Something that you can't help but think about. The second half of last year, if something like that were to happen, can't help but think about all the people who have believed in me, and and then so it'd be really cool. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. And I still think that I have the chance to be a really good player, and so for me, it's just getting back to today. What can I do today to just help this team win, and to just be in the clearest headspace possible for today's game, and generally when I just believe that God promises us enough for each day, and so if I can do that one day at a time, every single day, then whatever happens, I can live with.
Said Kyle Stowers, and again, that full conversation is on the Marlins YouTube. It's also on our podcast page. It is pretty amazing to see what Kyle Stowers has done this year, given what he did when he did come from Baltimore, and we did discuss that moment where Kyle was traded from Baltimore to Miami. I remember him getting to Tampa Bay. Ironically, that's where we head next time for our next series. But it was a 12-10 game, and Kyle Stowers got there around 10-10:30. We discussed that just being thrown into the fire. The Marlins, Peter Bendix, they all have believed in him. And even spring training, we discussed as well. In spring training, Kyle Stowers struck out 18 times in 16 games, 40 ABs. That's close to half his ABs. He was striking out. He hit 175. And I said, he is the cereal box, the smiling cover of someone with a serial name. Spring training stats don't matter because he has come out here in 2025 and has been super assertive. 283, an 840 OPS, 10 home runs, 33 RBIs. He is not in the lineup tonight, but I guarantee you will see him. I should do my Steve's guarantee that Kyle Stowers is going to be a pinch hitter because he will be eventually tonight. Kyle Freeland, the southpaw, is really struggling against right-handed bats. Righties are hitting 348 with an 893 OPS. Freeland has struggled this year, so Clayton McCullough has decided to go with 9 right-handed bats, which means Kyle Stowers, Jesus Sanchez, both out of the lineup, but again, anticipated to see some action later in this game in pinch-hitting situations. We will break here. We'll focus on the matchup on the mound. Cal Quantrill will face his former team. He'll go opposite the aforementioned Kyle Freeland. That is your matchup on the mound at 12:10. We'll break here. We'll come back with more of a deeper dive on both of these guys on the Marlins Radio Network.
On thrown on the run.
A 1 pitch is hammered out to left center field pretty deep. Hernandez is back. Track, wall. He jumps up. Hernandez made the catch. Heriberto Hernandez in his second major league game takes a 2-run home run away from Tyler Fitzgerald to end the inning.
The pitch at the same grip. Sometimes
1-1. Lee pumps into right center field. Myers on the move. Dane Myers back to the track. Myers jumps up, and he made an insane play. Dane Myers in right center field went leaping at the wall, full speed into the padded wall, grimacing as he lays on the warning track. But Dane Myers just took an RBI double away from Jung-Hoo Lee.
That's incredible again.
4th shutout for the Marlins. We've seen Edward Cabrera the last couple of seasons. We've seen the great Cabrera. We've seen the struggling Cabrera. We're seeing the consistent Cabrera. What's the evolution of him looked like through the process?
He's just attacking guys, getting ahead. His off-speed stuff looks better than ever. He's throwing strikes with it, so I think hitters have to be, conscious of all of his pitches instead of just a couple. So he's doing a really good job locating and executing everything.
How did you guys attack this Giants lineup, not just with Cabrera, with all your arms today?
Just going through the scouting report that, Mosk and the pitching coaches would give me. And they do a really good job, so just sticking with the plan, and Cabrera's doing a really good job, attacking them and executing it.
You got to give me one. Dane Myers catch or the Hernandez catch?
Man, both are great, but I think Dane's was probably one of the best catches I've ever seen. So that was unbelievable.
Where would this team be without Ronnie Enriquez?
He's been a rock out there, so he's thrown a lot of really big innings for us.
Cute. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
This is Clayton McCullough here, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
Marlins on Deck, Fox Sports 940 Miami. Steven Strom here, Jeff Nelson, Jack McMullen with me. Jack will join me in the next segment. Want to do some housekeeping here. We had a great discussion with Kyle Stowers on Monday. Again, that podcast is available, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. The voting for the All-Star game starts here in 12 minutes. Make sure to vote your Marlins in, MLB.com/All-Star/ballot. There's 2 phases. This one begins on June 4th, and then starter voting begins on June 13th. So make sure to go out and vote for someone like Kyle Stowers. And also make sure you download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 your top preset to listen to every Marlins game. Well, here we go. The Marlins don't want to be that team to get swept by the Colorado Rockies, who have won 11 games this year. But here we are in the situation. Cal Quantrill will face his former team here this afternoon, 3-5 with a 5.84 ERA, 11 starts, 49 in a third. Cal Quantrill's, I don't want the dominance is too strong, but the comeback for Cal in the month of May was real. On April 30th, Quantrill's ERA sat at 8.10. He has lowered his ERA by 3 runs. His last 5 starts, 22 2/3, 8 earned runs combined, a 3.18 ERA, 22 punch-outs, over 6 walks. These last 5 for Cal. The month of May treated him very well. As we turn the page to June, we shall see where Cal stands. Career-wise against the Rockies, he has faced them. Cal spent the majority of his career with the Cleveland Guardians. Then he played just 1 season with the Rockies last year. Career-wise against Colorado, 7 games, 4 starts, 1-2, a 5.84 ERA, 24 2/3. The trend we've seen with Cal Quantrill is Clayton McCullough has decided that he was going to go with Jansen Junk. It worked in Anaheim. It didn't work in the last game against San Francisco, but all in all, they did a nice job keeping the opposition's offense in check. Quantrill will go opposite Kyle Freeland, 6'4", 204 southpaw, playing for his childhood team in Season 9 with the Rockies. He comes in today, and it feels like this is a broken record just based on Colorado's record. These pitchers, 0-8, a 5.72 ERA, 61 1/3 innings pitched, 12 starts. He did take the loss on Friday in Queens against the Mets, but he pitched well. 3 runs on 7 hits, no walks, 4 punch-outs, 6 innings. For Kyle this year, and when you're looking at the lineup, I'm sure maybe some of you will pulling your hair out because you don't see Kyle Stowers and Jesus Sanchez. The reason being, Kyle Freeland has struggled mightily against right-handed bats. Opponents from the right side are hitting .348 with an .893 OPS. He's got bad splits. The righties are killing him this year. That's why we're seeing 9 right-handers in the lineup for Miami this afternoon. Career-wise against the Marlins, 3-0, a 3.48 ERA, 31 combined innings, 5 starts, 2 appearances for Kyle Freeland. So big start for Cal Quantrill. First one in the month of June. He'll go opposite the southpaw Kyle Freeland. 9 righties in the lineup for Clayton McCullough's Marlins. Let's break. We will discuss it with Jack McMullen next as Marlins on Deck continues. It's going to be a 12:10 first pitch. Fox Sports 940 right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Augustine Ramirez. Augustine hammers a ball out to left and deep. It is gone. Don't worry about that first run. Augustine Ramirez ties the contest at a run apiece. First pitch to Jesus Sanchez. Sanchez hits one a mile high out to right field. You got Wade working back. Wade at the track. He looks up and it's gone. Left on left matchup, and Jesus Sanchez leaves the yard. It was a sky-scraping homer. He hit it hard, looked almost directly. He throws 99, has a crazy good slider, and he's pretty young in his pitching life. 0-1 pitch, Otto drills out to left and deep. Sheets is back, he looks up, and this game is tied. A 3-run home run from Otto Lopez. And the Marlins work all the way back after the crooked number against Sandy. Bottom of the 4th, I should say. Infield is in. First pitch to Augustine. Kicks away from the catcher Diaz. And here comes Javi. He scores standing up without a throw. Jason Adam, the right-handed reliever. His first pitch of his outing was a yanked and spiked slider. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins take a 7-6 lead here in the top of the 7th.
Cutter, depending on the day. So most of the times it was my slider, and I just let it rip.
First pitch to Augustine. He lines one into center, and that drops in for a base hit. It's going to give the Fish the lead. A 2-run single as Augustine shimmies over at first base. He plates Norby.
SL requiere extendida internet. Velocidades reales varían. Velocidades se reducen después del uso de 30 GB por línea. Los límites de datos y los ahorros reales varían.
Well, the show goes on here. Good morning, Jack.
Hey, good morning.
How you doing?
We're good, man.
I like saying good morning. I don't know. It's something about a little breakfast in baseball. Can still say that, and we also can say brunch in baseball, technically. When do you usually get brunch? So after 12? Well, when does brunch stop for
I'm
you?
an early person. I'm a morning person, so brunch is typically a 10:30 to 11 job for me, but I know that is earlier than most.
Miami,
I think
it might be 3 o'clock here.
I know. Brunch menus typically are about, 9 until 1:30 or 2.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the wheelhouse for brunch. So it's brunch time until about the 6th inning today.
Well, good morning to all of our locals here in Miami. Good afternoon, wherever you are, wherever you may be listening.
Across the
Download
pond.
the iHeartRadio app. Make Fox Sports 940 your top preset to listen to every Marlins game. I'm Steven Strom. That's Jack McMullen. This is Marlins on Deck. Well, partner, here we go. You don't want to be that team. I feel like this is karma because I'm going to be honest with you, I've ripped the Rockies the first 2 games.
Sure.
And here we are in a situation, backs against the wall, trying to fend off this Rockies team. I'll start here, man. What is the path to victory for Miami here today?
It's not. I will start by answering a different question that you never asked, but you just kind of teased there. No, you're good. It's not karma because the goalposts kind of change, and you have to talk about the worst team of the modern era right now. And 11-50, they're still the worst 61 game start of the modern era. They were the worst team through 60 games by far. So that's the conversation. The goalposts are moving, right? You don't want to be the team to lose to the Rockies on Monday. Then you don't want to be the team that loses a series to the Rockies. And now you don't want to be a team that gets swept by the Rockies. So you can move the goalposts however much you want, but at the end of the day, this is a Major League Baseball team. They have a 2-time Gold Glove Award winner in center field. They have the hit leader among catchers in Major League Baseball DHing today. They have a guy that signed a 5-year contract extension on the mound today. And they have a franchise shortstop who, granted, is on the IL in Tovar, but they have major league pieces. So in terms of what they have to do today, I think you got to capitalize on Freeland mistakes.
Offensively. Oh, were you not done?
No.
Sorry.
I was
you
answering
were.
your question.
I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was answering your question. They have to capitalize on Freeland mistakes. So Kyle Freeland, lefty, very hard against lefties, sweeper's his best pitch. I think righties need to jump on that sweeper if it's over the heart of the plate, and there's a reason that we don't have any lefties in this lineup.
Not one.
There you go.
All righties.
There you go.
All righties. And for good reason, because right-handers are hitting 348 against him with an OPS of 893.
Yeah.
So it makes sense from that standpoint. I'm sure there's a little frustration with no Sanchez and Stowers. So I'm going to ask you this, Jack. This feels like, and looking at this lineup, there's not one guy that has more than 4 home runs outside of Augustine Ramirez in this lineup.
Yeah.
Is this going to have to be death by paper cuts tonight? Are they going to have to single their way, double their way through, especially because they have not been hitting home runs as of late?
It's tough because there are guys that can hit homers in this lineup. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I want to agree with you and say it'll be a paper cut type of game, but at the end of the day, Augustine can leave the yard for a crooked number. Eric Wagaman can hit homers. We saw him hit a tank near the Budweiser signage in left center field earlier this year. Otto Lopez can hit homers. Dane Myers can hit homers. And Heriberto Hernandez, we saw it in Jacksonville, can hit homers. So I think while the sample and while what's on paper has not teased that this is a lineup that can leave the ballpark, I do think that the individuals in here can clip sweepers and leave the ballpark.
I want to shout out Cal Quantrill, Jack, because we had mentioned him in the open and talked about he had an 8 ERA on April 30th. It's down to 5.84. He's lowered it about 3 runs.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see a similar thing as far as Sandy goes, how they've went upon it? And, 5 innings, there were some people that said, oh, Sandy should have went out last night. He only had 70 pitches, but Clayton McCullough, and I totally agree with him in his postgame, he had to take him out. He had to. The way things had spiraled on him. Do you think that we're going to kind of see a similar thing with Sandy?
No, I don't think so, because I think Sandy kind of has more of that. Number one, he has more pedigree, right? Sandy has the Cy Young Award. Cal does not. Sandy has all-star appearances. Cal does not. The other thing is Sandy's stuff is more conducive to getting deeper in a game. At the end of the day, Sandy Alcantara throws 99 miles an hour.
You're right.
And he's got one of the best sinkers in Major League Baseball. It's 97 and it runs like crazy. Cal does not have that. Cal's finding a pitch mix to get him through 4 or 5. I think what you're seeing with Cal Quantrill is the way that the Marlins feel like they're optimizing Cal Quantrill started games versus Sandy. If the horse is going, you let El Caballo go.
Ooh, you're sharp today. You're going to do a nice
I'm trying.
job today.
I'm a morning
It's a quick
person.
turnaround. No show and go. Jack was here early. Some of us had show and goes, but Jack is always ready and on it. He has a call with Jeff Nelson. What do we got, 12 minutes? Let me break your Expo question and Steve's guarantee. Then I'll hand it over and pass the baton to these two, Jack and Nelly. Marlins on Deck continues on the Marlins Radio Network.
Number 1 on your
on thrown on the run.
A 1 pitch is hammered out to left center field pretty deep. Hernandez is back. Track, wall. He jumps up. Hernandez made the catch. Heriberto Hernandez in his second Major League game takes a 2-run home run away from Tyler Fitzgerald to end the inning.
The pitch at the same grip. Sometimes
1-1. Lee pumps into right center field. Myers on the move. Dane Myers back to the track. Myers jumps up and he made an insane play. Dane Myers in right center field went leaping at the wall, full speed into the padded wall, grimacing as he lays on the warning track. But Dane Myers just took an RBI double away from Jung-Hoo Lee.
That's incredible again.
4th shutout for the Marlins. We've seen Edward Cabrera the last couple of seasons. We've seen the great Cabrera. We've seen the struggling Cabrera. We're seeing the consistent Cabrera. What's the evolution of him looked like through the process?
He's just attacking guys, getting ahead. His off-speed stuff looks better than ever. He's throwing strikes with it, so I think hitters have to be, conscious of all of his pitches instead of just a couple. So he's doing a really good job locating and executing everything.
How did you guys attack this Giants lineup, not just with Cabrera, with all your arms today?
Just going through the scouting report that, Mosk and the pitching coaches would give me. And they do a really good job, so just sticking with the plan, and Cabrera's doing a really good job, attacking them and executing it.
You got to give me one. Dane Myers catch or the Hernandez catch?
Man, both are great, but I think Dane's was probably one of the best catches I've ever seen. So that was unbelievable.
Where would this team be without Ronnie Enriquez?
He's been a rock out there, so he's thrown a lot of really big innings for us. He's come through many, many times. So, we definitely wouldn't be where we are without him. He's been a really, really solid rock in the bullpen for sure.
Thanks for the time, Nicky.
Of course.
All right, Jack, back to you.
Stream now.
Well, here we go. We're off and running on a now Wednesday afternoon. It's the final game here of this series and the final game of this homestand. Steven Strom, Fox Sports 940 Miami. This is Marlins on Deck. We thank you for your participation today. Make sure to go and vote for Kyle Stowers, MLB.com/all-star/ballot. He's looking to become the first outfielder for the Marlins to make an all-star game since Marcelo Zuna did it in 2017 and Giancarlo Stanton did it as well. Well, Cal Quantrill will look to fend off this Rocky team that is looking to sweep the Marlins for the first time for their team in 2025. He'll go opposite Kyle Freeland. Let's get to our Expo question today. I just said it. Who was the last position player? Actually, I didn't. That was outfielder. Who was the last position player to go to the All-Star game for the Marlins? Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. It is time. Mr. Carlos back in the studio, who's done a fabulous job, by the way, for Steve's guarantee.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's guarantees.
Plural today. I got 2 for you. Well, it's got to start offensively for the Marlins. 9 righties in the lineup against Kyle Freeland, who has given up an opposition's batting average of .348 with an .893 OPS. It's got to start with your big boys, Augustine Ramirez and Connor Norby. They have to combine here for 4+ hits, 3+ RBIs. They have to be aircraft carriers this afternoon against this Rockies team. Offense has really struggled over the week. Against the Giants on Friday, they were shut out. 2-0 victory on Saturday, and then were tamed on Sunday, giving up just 2 runs. So offensively for the Marlins, they've got to get going, and we will see with 9 righties in the lineup how they fare against Kyle Freeland. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch, because when we come back, Jack McMullen paints a picture. Jeff Nelson, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins on Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami Marlins baseball. It's next on the Marlins Radio Network.